And you notice they've upped the power twice now. The deaths are increasing. It's all incremental. Now, I'm going to give the number out, and I'll definitely get to calls in the next hour, maybe even this hour. But it's just all coming home here, folks. And we need to really break with the system and break with its lies and really see it for what it is. Most people, even in the media, aren't bad. Most people in the police, the military aren't bad. In fact, they're good. Most people are good, but they're deceived and they play along because they believe what they're being told. We are financing not just our own enslavement, but a giant technological factories totally replacing humans, robots building robots, official Pentagon, no more ground troops, no more nothing, disenfranchising humans, emasculating humans, just like calculators where people can't even do basic math. I'm not saying the calculator is bad itself. We need to control technology, not let a technocratic elite build its architecture that we pay for in taxes and our purchases to build in backdoor Trojan horse systems that control us. We need to understand we shape the planet. We shape the architecture. We are involved as men, not just passive people that just live here and accept whatever the programming television assaults us with. The controllers hate us. They write books about how they want to kill us. They write books about how great it is to unplug grandma, how great torture is, how good it is to get rid of the Bill of Rights, Newsweek, Time Magazine. Every cop movie I see, like Law-Abiding Citizen, the Constitution's the problem. Robots are killing people. All of this to checkpoints on highways. Men in black uniforms everywhere, just conditioning the sheeple. Conditioning the sheeple. Do you like being conditioned? Do you like being laughed at? Do you like the controllers thinking you're pathetic? You debating Romney, Gingrich, and all this. It's all rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Winning in this system, if you don't overthrow the paradigm, is losing. You could have $1 trillion and go with this system, you're a loser. You can have nothing but wake people up and help humanity and build things that are decent. And you are in the shadow of God. You got to decide, ladies and gentlemen, which side of this you're on. That's all I can tell you. Because more and more I see the full design of this. And thank God I woke up. Thank God I didn't fall to evil like so many others, or corruption or decadence. And I'm not perfect by a long shot. My sins are great. But thank God my heart is with God. Thank God at my core I'm a good person. Thank God for that. Because the curse of those that have been seduced from birth into corruption is a prison that and a commitment to evil, and a commitment to bondage and servitude and pain and humiliation that is such a horrible thing. I even pity the psychopathic, twisted generals of the New World Order. I mean, you look at them, you can see in their eyes and their flesh the great burden they're under. Totally taken over by the God of this world. You can see it. Oh, man. The way the evil manifests in those men, like Chertoff and Napolitano, Janet Napolitano, and all their little pimp servants, all so they could wear fancy suits and have people open doors for them. Sell their soul for the whole world. What does it profit them? What does it profit a man? And then every day I see articles like this. When this came out a few days ago, I didn't get to it. And then I actually started reading the whole article this morning. San Francisco Chronicle. Ranger zaps off-leash dog walker with a shock weapon. Hesterberg, whose age was not available, was arrested on suspicion of failing to obey a lawful order, having dogs off a leash, and knowingly providing false information. He said, I don't have an ID. He was released and not returned phone calls. Witnesses said the use of the stun gun and the arrest seemed excessive for someone walking two small dogs off a leash. It was really scary, said Michael Babcock, who said he had seen the incident as she and her husband walked their two border collies. I just felt so bad for him. Babcock said Hasterberg had repeatedly asked the ranger why he was being detained. She didn't answer him, Babcock said. He just tried, it's not detained, it's arrested. Okay, it's an arrest, it's a custodial arrest. He just tried to walk away. She never gave him a reason, Babcock said. The ranger shot Hasterberg in the back with a shock weapon as he walked off, Babcock said. We were into disbelief. They had to call an ambulance for him. They're so powerful now. They're just killing people all the time. I got some of the autopsies here. It didn't make any sense. Rancho del Terra has long been an off-the-leash walking spot for local dog owners. Yeah, I've been with friends there and walked their dogs. In December, the area became part of the national park system, which requires that all dogs be on a leash. Yeah, it's not enough to have like 85% of the land out west. The Fed's got to have more. Levitt said, the ranger was trying to educate residents on the rule. I'm sure she did. The Park Service is investigating the incident, he said. And I mean, it was like me at the Grand Canyon. We took a wrong turn. We're on a road. We're turning around and lights go on. She runs up, bangs on the door. We open. It's like, what are you doing here? And who are you? And it's just an RV. And we're like, we're looking for the RV parking area. She was like, get out. And I got out, just as my wife and kids were there, I just played along and let her have power. And I said, I'm sorry. We're just looking for where to park. She goes, it's down there. Take a turn, such and such. And because I played along with it, she said, here, I'll show you where it is. And by the end of it was, you know, still another cop car came and she had tasers and guns and everything. And they were still kind of shaking their heads. But since I kind of played like I was an idiot. And they liked that. They got real comfortable and were like, oh, it's over there. And then she was like, I can't believe where they're parking. They were kind of looking at us like we were pathetic. And I just did it as a psychological test. I kind of went, oh, and they got real happy when I acted like I was a fluoride head. And I acted mentally retarded. They got real pleased by that. And it was just a little test. I was just, here, I'm going to act like a jellyfish with these people. So I just got off and went, what? But again, just bum rushing up like we had engaged in the murder of small children. And it goes on here that they said, give me identification. He said, I don't have any. I'm just walking my dogs. There were 2 small lap dogs. And he said, well, if you won't tell me why I'm here, and he asked over and over again, I'm going to leave. And he just tasered him in the back. And it's going to get worse. The Huffington Post is upset. All the liberals love to go walk their dogs there. You're going to find out it's not going to get any better. I thought I'd read an American Dream article that's up at Infowars.com. 19 crazy things that school children are being arrested for in America. And some of these happened this week. Let me read to you these. I've seen people arrested for having a Bible in their bag at school. Oh, yeah, what happened to the First Amendment? And there's links to all these articles. At one public school in Texas, a 12-year-old named Sarah Bustamantes was recently arrested for spraying herself with perfume. Number 2, a 13-year-old student in Albuquerque, New Mexico, recently arrested by police for burping in class. I've seen them arrest people for that, yeah. Another student down in Albuquerque was forced to strip down to his underwear while 5 adults watched because he had $200 in his pocket. The student was never formally charged with anything wrong. Well, cops here in Texas take money from old ladies if you got money. You're not supposed to have that as a slave. No judge, no jury, no arrest. Number 4, a security guard at the school in California broke the arm of a 16-year-old girl because she left some crumbs on the floor after cleaning up some cake that she'd spilled. Number 5, one teenage couple down in Houston poured milk on each other during a class squabble while they were breaking up. Instead of being sent to the principal, they were arrested and sent to court. Number 6, we got 6 million people in prison. I mean, you got the biggest prison population in the world. It's a good thing. In early 2010, a 12-year-old girl at a school in Forest Hills, New York, was arrested by police and marched off to school in handcuffs because she drooled on her desk while asleep. I love my friends. While she doodled. I saw another one who was arrested for drooling. I love my friends Abby and Faith was what she reportedly scribbled on her desk. There was another case that I don't even see in here where it was falling asleep and drooled. Number 7, a 6-year-old girl from Florida was handcuffed and sent to the mental facility after throwing a temper tantrum in her elementary school. Number 8, one student down in Texas reportedly arrested by police for throwing paper airplanes in class. Number 9, a 17-year-old honor student in North Carolina named Ashley Smithwick accidentally took her father's lunch with her to school that contained a small paring knife, which he would use to slice up apples. So what happened to the standout student when the school discovered this? The school suspended her for the rest of the year, and the police charged her with a misdemeanor. I've seen people arrested for Dixie knives, you know, little plastic knives to spread butter. Number 10, in Allentown, Pennsylvania, a 14-year-old girl was tasered in the groin area by a school security officer, even though she had put her hands up in the air to surrender. 11, down in Florida, an 11-year-old student was arrested, thrown in jail, and charged with third-degree felony for bringing a plastic butter knife to school. Yeah, there's one of those. I hadn't even read all these. Number 12, back in 2009, an 8-year-old boy in Massachusetts was sent home from school and was forced to undergo psychological evaluation because he drew a picture of Jesus on the cross. 13, a police officer in San Mateo, California, blasted a 7-year-old special education student in the face with pepper spray because he would not quit climbing on furniture. 14, in America today, 5-year-old children are treated brutally by police. The following is a recent article that described what happened when young student in Stockton, California, a while back. The student was handcuffed and zip-tied on his feet, forced to go to the hospital for psychiatric evaluation, was charged with battery of a police officer for jumping up and throwing a tantrum. 15, that's a 5-year-old. Now, again, they won't let teachers or parents discipline their kids or imply you'll get arrested. Then everybody runs around like crazy. Then they just take you to a facility where you're raped by pedophiles, you know, at juvenile hall. Here in Texas, the entire youth commission, they had gladiatorial fights. Judges, lawyers, locals came to rape them, just like Sandusky and the alumni coming to rape the kids. It's coming out in the news. I mean, it's just a bunch of pedophile criminals run things. And they know psych warfare. They know if you teach kids to have no discipline, give them a bunch of Coca-Cola and a bunch of sugar and red dye, and they're all mentally, you know, out of control, then you just taser them and teach them how to be prisoners. See, only the state can have authority. Kind of like in England where you can't even defend yourself in your own home or you go to jail. But they throw the book at people that even fight someone raping your wife. 15, at one school in Connecticut, a 17-year-old boy was thrown to the floor and tasered 5 times before he was yelling at a cafeteria worker. Again, because he yelled at a cafeteria worker. 16, a teenager in suburban Dallas was forced to take out a part-time job after being ticketed for using foul language in one high school classroom. The original ticket was $340, but additional fees have raised the fine to $637. Number 17, a few months ago, police were called out when a little girl kissed a little boy during a physical education class at an elementary school in Florida. 18, a 6-year-old boy was recently charged with sexual battery for touching someone during a game of tag in San Francisco. 19, in Massachusetts, police recently sent out to collect an overdue library book from a 5-year-old girl. It goes on and on. Now, when I come back, they're killing people with tasers, and they're now tasering you if you don't answer questions. In fact, that's what they say here. He didn't follow the police order to answer his questions, so he was tasered. No Fifth Amendment. Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know? In Florida and in New York, judges have ruled, you can just type in judge rules, you can taser suspects to make them answer questions. Now that's a violation of the Fifth Amendment. That's torture. They call it pain compliance. And it was all tested out on pro-lifers. In my film, Martial Law, there's in the extra addendum, there's the footage of police in the 80s and 90s breaking people's arms for sitting on sidewalks. And you see the arms broken, compound fractures, big purple, you know, bones popping out. Bones are white when you're dead, folks. They're purple. Blood spurting, cops getting off on it.